to say, for the action-based combat, the groundwork was already there in the original stuff. But is it actually quite challenging to make an action-based combat work really intuitively?
Yeah, actually it is actually. With timing, and you also have to really think about not only a player but the enemy's movements, players' movements, and there's so many stuff you can do. For example, usually it's not just a hack and slash and guard game. There's like a lot of, for example, magical spells. Obviously, it's very varied, and you have to think about each of the strategies concerning your actions you can actually choose from. Right, so I think it's very complicated, and the moves are very varied, and each of them has to be perfect. Right, so it's very difficult to balance out and tweak.
At the start of the interview, you kind of said something like, yeah, the story is so difficult that sometimes we kind of forget what, Kingdom Hearts has been telling. Are there any instances in which you actually forgot something and made a mistake?
I make sure not to make a mistake, so that's why. So I do look up a lot of our prior resources. Obviously, play the game and we look up on the internet, right? So we don't want to make any mistakes.
Have there been any instances where you actually made a mistake?
Well, no, I don't think so. I guess you'd have to ask the player though. They might have found something. I'm not aware of anything at all right now. Yeah. And I say, and also Nomura has a very clear picture and good memory concerning Kingdom Hearts plotline, right? So I think we're pretty sure of him.
Would you say it's been quite intimidating having to work on this, knowing that there's a huge fan base?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah. It's also it's actually meaningful for me. I mean, because of the passionate fan base, it really drives us to do well. I think so. I think it's very intimidating, but at the same time, because it's intimidating, it's worth doing. I think we have a lot of very passionate responses on the internet. For example, last year at the E3, after the E3, there was a lot of passionate players on the internet, YouTube, and that really, our whole development team watched that. It's very, it's very exciting for us too.
Kingdom Hearts has a lot of characters. How do you think we should approach that? Get one game with a lot of characters. What's the best way to actually make one world in which all of the characters have an appropriate amount of screen time?
We don't really think about it, I guess, as screen time. I guess, obviously for Kingdom Hearts 3, it's sort of finalizing the Dark Seeker, the prior Kingdom Hearts story. So I guess many of the prior characters will appear. It's not just about time, I guess, but it's about, meaning. There's a lot of different threads that each character carries, so we sort of want to let our audience know what happens to them. For example, for Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Aqua, Ventus, and Terra, they're sort of, Aqua is sort of trapped in the realm of darkness. What's going to happen to her, sort of thing. We want to have answers for that as much as possible. So we have to sort of complete the threads, different threads.
What would you say your favorite story thread is?
I guess I like the sadness of Birth by Sleep. I mean, it's very making it right at the very end. And, it was kind of usually when we actually finish a game, we're very happy and overjoyed. But I guess at the very end, when we're finishing the final touches with cutscenes, it's been very sad for Birth by Sleep. So it's kind of there's a sort of dissonance there. It's sad, but so you sort of want things to go in a happy direction, I think, right? Usually, most of the time, at the end.
And Kingdom Hearts 3 will, of course, be like the final chapter of at least this 3 parts, and it will end like solve most threads and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the threads.
How do you feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 as like an ending piece to the Kingdom Hearts saga? Do you have a special feeling with that?
Well, the Dark Seeker saga will have, there are a lot of threads will have an ending, and no, not really. I mean,
you're not like, oh no, now I have to end the story.
No, I mean, I'm not I personally don't write the story, right? Nomura and another writer is writing the story. I really concentrate on the gameplay. So gameplay-wise,
but still, I guess you're pretty much a fan yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
So as a fan,
As a fan, okay, yeah. Well, I guess for a lot of the threads, like I mentioned earlier, Aqua Ventus and Terra, we personally made that for the Request Sleep, right? So, I would like to know, as a fan, for example, I would really like to know what happens to them, and I guess that would be touching, I think, in a way, because there's been some time since Request Sleep. And now Aqua is still trapped in the realm of darkness, right? And Ventus is sort of in a deep sleep. So,
in terms of gameplay, obviously, what would you say the biggest challenge has been in 2.5?
2.5 gameplay. Well, there's not a lot gameplay-wise that we changed.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to keep things the same. We didn't want to betray our players. For I guess Birth by Sleep, we changed a lot of the content for, well, not a lot, but the arena mode. We changed it into a single-player mode. So we sort of changed the battles. We adjusted the battles, and also at the very end, we sort of changed AIs for some of the boss battles. So I guess that's something we did. As for gameplay for Kingdom Hearts 2, there's nothing significant that has been altered. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of content has been added for Final Mix, so you can enjoy that.
Have you also thought of like a Dissidia-like title to do with Kingdom Hearts as well?
Dissidia, well,
Spin-off in general.
yeah. Dissidia, we haven't really, I've considered that yet, but, but inside Kingdom Hearts, you have battles that are similar, right?
Yeah.
So it's sort of included, I think. Yeah.
But if Square Enix would say like, we want to make a new Dissidia but with Kingdom Hearts characters, would you be prepared to go with that?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I'd rather make Kingdom Hearts 3. That's something that I want to concentrate on right now, and I think a lot of the battles though. For example, when we were making Kingdom Hearts 3D, there's a lot of stuff that we recognized in Dissidia that was good, right? Slide on these little railways, that sort of thing. So I think that we referenced that as well. So, and huge spaces, battles where we have huge spaces, that's something we might do as well in Kingdom Hearts 3. So, I guess it's sort of, Dissidia is sort of included inside what we're making right now. A lot of aspects, I think.
I probably have missed the announcement of it, but is there like a special edition coming out with 2.5? Because there was one for 1 and for 3D.
There is a limited edition, and you have a pin inside included. So with Mickey and Sora. So that's something I guess that is included.
Well, of course, Dissidia is pretty similar to, gameplay-wise to Kingdom Hearts, of course. But if you would make like a theater-driven game, like a theater-driven game with Kingdom Hearts, would you be prepared to go with that?
Well, I don't know. I'd say I like sound games, like sound mini games as well. We've been doing that. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because it would work. I feel like there's some fans.
Yeah, I think if and I'm not saying I would do it, right? But I would say I would develop it. Because if somebody made a sound Kingdom Hearts, I would play it. I'll buy it.
talk to the man,
Yeah, so you'd have to talk to Hazumo-san about that. Yeah, I don't know.
He's here, so.
Yeah, he's here. He's good. Yeah, if he wants it. I definitely play it. Yeah. Also, for the Dissidia, we're not really. We reference a lot of the actions, but fundamentally they're totally two different games. So I guess Kingdom Hearts 3 is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
Dissidia, so it's not the same.
Has there been a temptation to move Kingdom Hearts a little bit more turn-based at times as well? Because obviously some of the action can be ridiculously hectic. So for like new players coming in, help them to adjust.
No, actually we want it real time, I think. Yeah, so I guess maybe mini games, sub games, that is a possibility. But for the main game, I think our players want it to be real time, a lot of actions. Also, but we do have to take into consideration if when new players come in, if things are too quick and too hectic, that's going to put them off. So I think we have to strike the right balance. And right now we are really adjusting and tweaking to see what is perfect. That's sort of very important, speed-wise.
No, I lost my question.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay. in terms of design, what do you think is typically Kingdom Hearts?
Typically Kingdom Hearts. I think I don't do the artwork, right? So
No,
typically.
but also like for in-game design.
Oh, in-game design. I think there's actually several. I guess in the Kingdom Hearts universe, there are worlds that are very tune-based, tune-looking shaders, and also we have very real-looking, for example, Pirates of the Caribbean looks. And so I think there's not a single one. I think one of the great things is there's like several expressions that are different. Yeah, Timeless River, for example, that's black and white. And so we sort of adjust things to fit each sort of IP. I think that's one of the characteristics of Kingdom Hearts.
Have you had, what is the most requested feature that comes from the community? What do they want to see happen in the gameplay?
In terms of gameplay, there's like a lot of stuff. After making Kingdom Hearts 3D, there were a lot of opinions that things were too hectic, maybe. And so, while that's something that we really take into consideration. I guess for 1.5, we had a lot of reviews, opinions saying that they wanted the battle scenes to be included in the cutscene mode, so we added that in Kingdom Hearts 2.5's recoded cinematic mode. There are battle scenes that have been changed into cutscenes. And also I guess there's a lot of stuff that's written about what players want in regards to Disney IPs, and so we look at that too. And we also want to surprise them, right? So we just come up with ideas that's not really on their lists.
Where do you get a lot of the ideas from? I mean, is it mostly through testing, or is it from like someone just comes in and says, "I've got an idea, let's try it"?
It's like a sort of a I have an idea thing most of the time.
Does that mean there's a lot of stuff just left on the cutting room floor that just doesn't fit?
Yeah, there is. Yeah. We do trials extensively, see what works and doesn't work, and there's a lot of stuff we throw away. And I guess that's important when we're making gameplay. So.
I mean, what sort of stuff have you decided that doesn't work?
That doesn't work. There are a lot of worlds that we've thrown away, but I can't say. I can't say different environments. I can't really say that, but also I guess moves, abilities, that sort of stuff too.
You said like we've got worlds that got thrown away, but would you consider if they got thrown away, would you reconsider them, for example, a future title or something? Or is it like, it's thrown away, let's just not look at it?
Well, I guess for each Kingdom Hearts title, there are different worlds that fit and don't fit. So, so I guess, having it rejuvenated, having it redone is a possibility, definitely.
With the 2.5 package, other games, they literally feel like separate entities, or have you tried to make it so they almost flow into each other?
Oh, for the different packages. We sort of wanted the same look and composition as in Kingdom Hearts 1.5. So there's a menu, and you can choose from there. Yeah, we didn't want to alter it too much. It's sort of the same format.
Okay, so it doesn't. I'm just like, it's a complete package in one section. I mean, why did you decide to lump these together for 2.5 rather than the other titles? Even though they're not connected in the same sense.
Well, I think they are connected. Birth by Sleep is the original story, and then you have Kingdom Hearts 2. And Recode sort of connects to 2 and Birth by Sleep. The player understands that Sora from Kingdom Hearts 2 has to save the characters from Birth by Sleep, sort of thing. So it sort of connects everything in a way. So it is, I think, connected. And I think gameplay-wise too, they're very different. Birth by Sleep and 2. Birth by Sleep, there's a lot of systems that, a lot of customization, and 2 is more actions are varied. There's a lot of reaction-based commands, so you get 2 different sort of gameplay included.
Was there a temptation to bring features from Birth by Sleep into 2 and vice versa?
I think gameplay-wise, we haven't really altered it fundamentally, right? So we haven't changed to Birth by Sleep system because we wanted it to remain the same.
But I mean, at the beginning when you were starting doing it, you think, oh, we might do that, or you always know from the beginning, we're not going to change it.
Yeah, well, we actually decided early on that we didn't really want to alter it fundamentally. When we were making 1.5, the controls for Kingdom Hearts 1, we sort of adjusted that to the Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah, because it was very difficult to actually move the camera and stuff. So yeah, we did that, but we didn't. For 2 and Birth by Sleep, they were both well received, so we didn't really want to alter that fundamentally.
Well, one question you've probably heard 1,000 times before. What's your favorite Kingdom Hearts and why?
Title.
Yeah.
Oh well, I like several, right? I love 2. I like 2 and Birth by Sleep. 2 and Birth by Sleep are
I
two.
think that's a good thing you.
Yeah.
The ones you were working on.
Yeah, but they are. But they really are. But I think I really do like Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts 2. Birth by Sleep was my first Kingdom Hearts title I worked on. Aqua, yeah, a lot of the fans in Japan love Aqua, I guess.
And especially since before you've been talking about Aqua a lot, so.
Yeah, Aqua, yeah, Aqua has become a lot more beautiful, I think, in Kingdom Hearts 2.5. So if people like that, I think that's good too. But no, fundamentally, I really love the gameplay for Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep and 2. The actions in Kingdom Hearts 2, they were very according to the battles. They were actually really changed. So I think that was fun, enjoyable. And Birth by Sleep, the customization was actually very enjoyable as well. So I like that. So I'm not just saying it because I'm working on it right now. I really do like Kingdom Hearts 2 and Birth by Sleep.
Is there actually 2 quick ones? Firstly, I was going to say, how difficult has it actually been bringing the PS2 and PSP games in terms of like literally coding and hardware onto the PS3? Because it's a very different system.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we have a lot of expert programmers who do that. For PS2 and PSP, they are different. So we have different programmers working on for each title. We have 5 programmers right now working on the porting process, and 3 worked on Kingdom Hearts 2, and 2 worked on Birth by Sleep. So they made the original systems so that our designers could add graphical data and stuff. So I guess that was difficult, but we got a lot of experience making 1.5, so that helped, I think.
And finally, you said before that Final Fantasy VII was the game that made you want to go and work for Squaresoft then. Was that the first Squaresoft title you ever played, or was the first thing your first experience?
First experience, well, I played the previous Final Fantasy titles, obviously. I love Dragon Quest as well. Oh, that's we weren't together yet. So, yeah, I grew up in Canada, and I think I learned Japanese through playing Dragon Quest 3. So that was helpful from an educational standpoint. I think I learned my Japanese through those video games. That's I guess one of the reasons I came to Japan too. So that was good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.